Rain poured over the busy city street. People rushed by with umbrellas and warm jackets, trying not to get wet. Cars splashed through puddles, and shops glowed with warm lights. Outside a small bakery, a boy stood still. He was around 10 years old. Barefoot, wet, clothes torn. His eyes were fixed on the glass window of the bakery. Inside, fresh bread sat on trays. Cakes and cookies smiled back at him through the glass. His name was Armin. Armin hadn't eaten all day. His stomach growled, but he didn't complain. He had learned long ago that no one cared about complaints. Instead, he just stood there, watching the food, hoping someone would notice him. Customers came and went. Some looked at him, some didn't. No one stopped. Then a black luxury car parked across the street. The driver rushed out and opened the door. From inside stepped a tall, well-dressed man in a sharp suit and polished shoes. Mr. Saeed, he was one of the richest men in the city. Everyone knew his name. His face appeared on business magazines. People feared him in the office and respected him in public. He had money, power, and pride. Mr. Saeed crossed the street toward the bakery, holding a silver umbrella. His eyes moved quickly, like someone always in a hurry. That's when he saw Arman. The boy looked up at him. His lips moved. "Sir, I'm hungry. Could I please have something to eat?" The words were soft, polite, not begging, just asking. Mr. Saeed stopped. He looked at the boy from head to toe. Then he leaned closer. "What did you say?" His voice was sharp. Arman swallowed. I haven't eaten. If you could buy me a small bun, please." Mr. Saeed laughed, a cold, hard laugh. "Why don't you get a job?" he said. "Or go beg somewhere else? Do I look like your father?" Arman's eyes dropped to the ground. People nearby heard the conversation, but no one said anything. Mr. Saeed turned away, walked into the bakery and ordered a coffee and a chocolate croissant. He took his time talking on his phone, checking the news. Outside, Arman waited. He hoped the man might still come back with something. But when Mr. Saeed came out, he took a bite of his croissant, looked at Arman again and said, "There's nothing free in this world, boy. Remember that." Then he walked away. His umbrella sparkled under the city lights as he stepped back into his car and drove off. Arman stood there for a few more minutes. Then he walked to the side of the shop, sat down, and hugged his knees. His stomach hurt. His feet were cold, but his heart hurt more than anything. He whispered to himself, "I only asked for one bun." Raindrops rolled down his face, mixing with silent tears. He didn't know that someone had been watching. Across the street, behind a newspaper stand, a man stood under a broken roof. His face was hidden by a hoodie. He watched the whole scene, his eyes never leaving Arman or Mr. Saeed. He pulled out a small notebook and wrote something down. Then he slowly walked away, disappearing into the rain. Back in his luxury apartment, Mr. Saeed sat on his leather couch. He had forgotten about the boy already. To him, it was just another street beggar. He turned on the news, drank his imported coffee, and opened his laptop to check his company stocks. But just as he reached for the remote, ding. His phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. One message. No name, no number, just a photo of a small boy sitting on a broken staircase. The boy was barefoot, hungry, alone. But this photo was old, at least 20 years old, and Mr. Saeed's hands began to shake, because the boy in the photo was him. Mr. Saeed stared at his phone screen. The photo sent to him was not from today, but from many years ago. It showed a small, barefoot boy sitting on a broken staircase. The boy's clothes were torn. His face was thin, and his eyes were full of pain. Mr. Saeed couldn't look away, because that boy was him. For the first time in many years, Mr. Saeed's cold, powerful world felt small. His hands shook. His heart beat faster. Who sent this photo? Why now? How did they find it? He sat back slowly, the phone still in his hand. The photo brought back memories he had locked away long ago. 20 years ago. A cold night. A small town. A younger version of Saeed sat alone near a bakery, just like Armin had. He remembered the hunger, the pain, and how badly he wanted someone, anyone, to care. He remembered knocking on doors, asking for food. Most people ignored him. Some shouted. A few hit him. But there was one man, an old bakery owner, who once gave him a piece of warm bread and said, "Never forget this feeling, boy. One day you'll be the one passing it forward." Saeed had promised himself he'd never forget, but he did. Now the memory hit him hard. He had treated Armin the same cruel way the world once treated him. He stood up suddenly, paced around the room, and picked up his phone. He called his assistant. "Do you know any child shelters around Main Street?" His assistant replied, confused, "Sir, is everything all right? Just do it," he snapped, then hung up. Saeed grabbed his coat and rushed to his car. The rain had stopped, but the air was still cold. Back to the street, Mr. Saeed returned to the bakery. The spot where Armin had stood was now empty. He looked around. No sign of the boy. He asked the bakery staff, "Did you see the boy who was standing outside earlier?" The man behind the counter shrugged. "He left, looked weak, probably walked toward the bus station." Saeed nodded and rushed toward the nearby station. He didn't know why he cared so much. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was shame. Maybe it was that old photo, reminding him of who he used to be. At the station, he searched every corner. He asked vendors, sweepers, even passengers. No one had seen a small barefoot boy. Just as he was about to give up, he noticed something near a trash bin. A small, torn notebook with water-stained pages. He picked it up and flipped through the pages. Simple drawings, a broken family, a woman lying on a bed, a boy holding a tray of bread with a big smile. On the last page, written in shaky handwriting, "Sorry I asked. I just wanted one bun." Saeed stood still. He sat down on a nearby bench, holding the notebook tightly. He had built empires, he had earned billions, but in this moment, he felt like the poorest man in the world. Suddenly, his phone buzzed again. Another message. This time, "You forgot who you were, but it's not too late to remember." No name, no number, just words. He looked around, but there was no one watching. He held the notebook close to his chest and whispered, "Where did you go, little boy?" Someone is watching, from a rooftop nearby. A man in a hood watched Mr. Saeed. He held a second copy of the same notebook. His eyes were calm, focused. He took a photo of Saeed sitting on the bench. Then he made a call. "He's starting to remember, just as planned." The voice on the other end replied, "Then it's time for him to meet the mother." The sun was rising, but the sky was still gray. Mr. Saeed hadn't slept all night. The torn notebook rested beside his bed. He kept reading the same sentence, over and over. "Sorry I asked, I just wanted one bun." He couldn't get Armin's face out of his mind, that small, polite voice, the empty eyes, and now, the boy was gone. Searching for Armin early in the morning, Saeed drove back to the area. He visited the bakery again. He asked around, shopkeepers, sweepers, rickshaw drivers, "Have you seen a boy? Barefoot, thin, maybe 10 years old?" Some shook their heads. Others didn't care. But one old man selling newspapers pointed toward an alley. "I saw a boy there last night. Looked sick. Maybe he went to the shelter near the station." Saeed followed the path. The alley smelled of smoke and rain. He checked the shelter. It was nearly empty. A woman at the door said, "Many children sleep here." But we turned no one away. Maybe he came, maybe not. What's his name? Saeed paused. He had never even asked the boy's name. He felt ashamed. He thanked the woman and walked away, feeling more helpless than ever. A clue, left behind later. That afternoon, Saeed returned to the place near the bus station where he had found the notebook. This time he looked more closely. He noticed a small wooden box behind the trash bin. It was wet and half broken. Inside it were two things. A page from a school workbook, on the page written in pencil. "My name is Armin. I want to be a teacher. I want to help poor children like me." Saeed held the paper gently. His hands trembled. He read the line again and again. I want to help poor children like me. He sat down on the sidewalk. People passed by, not noticing the billionaire, sitting in the dust with tears in his eyes. A house of pain at that moment, somewhere in the city. A woman sat inside a small, dark room. Her clothes were old, her face pale. She held a thin blanket and looked at a photo. The photo was of Armin, smiling, holding a school bag. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Where are you, my son?" she whispered. The door creaked open. A man entered. His face was hard. He looked angry. "He hasn't come back," the man said. "I told you he shouldn't talk to strangers." The woman stood up. "He was just hungry. He was trying to get food." "You'll both ruin everything," the man hissed. "If anyone finds you, especially him, it's over." The woman didn't reply. She turned her face toward the window and looked at the cloudy sky. She didn't know that a storm was coming, a storm of truth. Another message back in his office. Mr. Saeed sat quietly. His assistant came in confused. "Sir, the press is calling. You missed 3 meetings. What's going on?" Saeed didn't answer. He stared at his phone. It buzzed again, another unknown message. "Do you really want to find the boy?" Saeed quickly replied, "Yes, I need to find him. Who are you?" The next message came in seconds later. "Then follow the truth, not the money." Attached to the message was a picture, a blurry photo of a woman, holding the same notebook Saeed had found. Saeed leaned forward. "Zoo." Mr. Saeed sat in silence, staring at the blurry photo of the woman on his phone. The image wasn't clear, but her eyes, her face, something about it struck his heart. Was it really her? The girl he once knew? The one who helped him when he had nothing? He remembered her name. Zoya. They had been close, maybe too close. But then life changed. He chose success, he chose money, and he left her behind, without a goodbye. Now, was she Armin's mother? A storm of memories that night. Sleep didn't come. Saeed walked around his large, expensive apartment, but everything felt empty. He looked at the shelves full of trophies, awards, business magazines with his face on them. He thought, what use is all this if I can't even face my past? He picked up the old notebook again, the one Armand had left behind. His eyes stopped at a sketch. It showed a small boy, a woman lying on a bed, and a man standing at a door. The boy had drawn a home full of sadness, and the woman in the drawing looked like Zoya. A lead. The next morning, Saeed called his personal investigator. "I need to find someone. Her name is Zoya. We knew each other a long time ago. I think she might be living in the lower parts of the city." "Maybe with a child." The investigator raised an eyebrow. "Any more details?" "She once helped me when I was poor. I left her behind. Now I need to find her, and the boy with her. His name is Armin." The man nodded. "Give me a day, but..." Saeed couldn't wait. The walk into his past. Saeed returned to the small bakery again. He walked into the same alley. He looked at every corner, every wall, and then he saw it. On the back of a wooden electric pole, a torn flyer. It was old and dirty, but still visible. A missing person notice, a woman's photo. Below it, Zoya, last seen in East Gullberg area, lives with a sick child. If seen, please contact. But the number was smudged. His heart dropped. She had gone missing, or maybe she was hiding. But from who? The hidden house elsewhere in the city, in a broken-down building. Zoya sat by a candlelight. Her face was thin, her body weak, but her spirit remained strong. She looked at a small medicine bottle, almost empty. Her son, Arman, was missing. The door creaked open. She quickly hid the bottle. It was the same man from earlier, the one with the hard face. He looked angry. "I told you not to send him outside." Zoya stood up. "He was hungry. He went to get food. He's just a child." The man slammed his hand on the table. "If he talks to the wrong person, we'll lose everything." Zoya's voice broke. "He needs medicine. He needs food, and he needs love, not fear." The man grabbed her wrist. "You want to go back to him, don't you? To that rich fool who left you behind?" Zoya pulled away. "He doesn't know Armin is his son." The room went silent. The man's eyes widened. Zoya realized what she had just said. Eyes in the shadows outside the broken house. The man in the hoodie stood quietly. He had followed every step. He now knew the full truth. He pulled out his iPhone and sent one message to Mr. Saeed. The woman you seek is Zoya. She's in Sector 5, but be careful. Someone doesn't want you to find her. Mr. Saeed read the message. His hands tightened into fists. He got up, grabbed his coat, and whispered, Zoya, I'm coming. Time is running out. At that same moment, Zoya stood near the window of the old house, staring into the darkness. She held Armand's photo and whispered, Please come back, my son. Or someone, please find him before it's too late. Mr. Saeed drove through the narrow, broken roads of Sector 5. His heart was heavy. His mind raced. So many questions. Was Zoya really still alive? Was Armand really his son, and why was she hiding? He stopped his car near an old building. The message had said Zoya was inside. He took a deep breath and stepped out. The walls were cracked. The windows were broken. It looked nothing like the place he had imagined for her. He walked to the door, but before he could knock, a voice stopped him. Looking for someone, rich man? A tall man stepped out of the shadows. His eyes were sharp, his face hard. It was the same man who had been watching over Zoya. A dangerous warning, Saeed spoke carefully. I came to find Zoya. Please, I need to talk to her. The man stepped forward. She doesn't want to see you, but I know her. We were close years ago, and I think the boy she's with, he's my son. The man laughed coldly. Now you care, after all these years? Saeed's eyes burned with guilt. I didn't know. I left because I was chasing a future. I didn't know she was carrying my child. The man's voice turned cruel. You left her when she needed you the most. She suffered, and now that you're rich, you think you can walk back into her life? Saeed stepped closer. I don't want to hurt her. I want to help. Please, just let me speak to her once. But the man shook his head. No. If you care about her, leave her alone. Inside the room behind the door, Zoya had heard everything. She stood frozen. Tears rolled down her face as she leaned against the wall. Her heart beat fast. She had never thought Saeed would come back. She whispered to herself, He knows. She walked slowly to a small drawer and pulled out a photo. It was old, faded. A younger Saeed and a younger Zoya, smiling together in front of a tea stall. She ran her fingers over the photo. He doesn't know what happened after he left. He doesn't know the price I paid. She looked at Armand's bed. It was empty, and her heart ached. Armand struggled far from the building, in a crowded market. Armand walked weakly between stalls. His stomach hurt. His feet were sore. He had tried to return home the night before, but someone had chased him from the street. Now he was lost. He had no idea his mother was nearby, or that the rich man from yesterday was his father. He sat near a water tank, breathing heavily. A woman selling fruit looked at him kindly. Are you okay, Beta? Armand nodded but said nothing. She gave him a banana. Eat something. You look like a ghost. He took it, tears in his eyes. Thank you, Auntie. She smiled and touched his head. Where is your mother? He looked down. I don't know. The stranger returns. Meanwhile, the man in the hoodie, the silent watcher, sent another message to Mr. Saeed. She's scared, not of you, but of the past. You need to earn her trust. Saeed replied, Tell me how. The stranger sent one last message. Save the boy first. Everything begins there. Saeed's eyes widened. He understood. A race against time. That evening, Zoya's health worsened. She coughed badly and struggled to stand. She looked out the window, still hoping Armand would return. The tall man entered again, holding a bag of medicine. You're lucky I found this, he said coldly. But your boy? No sign. Zoya's voice shook. I can feel it. Something's going to happen. Saeed is back, and Armand is in danger. The man looked at her. Maybe it's time you told Saeed the truth. Zoya turned away, whispering, or maybe it's too late already. a sudden light. That night, as Saeed walked through the market asking people about a barefoot boy, he heard a small voice. "Sir, can I have some bread?" He turned. It was Arman, dirty, weak, barely standing. Saeed froze. Tears filled his eyes. "Arman." The boy looked confused. "How do you know my name?" Saeed slowly knelt. "Because I think I'm your father." The market lights flickered as night fell. Saeed stared at the weak boy standing before him. "Arman," he whispered again, eyes filled with emotion. The boy blinked. His lips trembled. "How do you know my name?" Saeed knelt slowly. He didn't want to scare him. "I met you 2 days ago, near the bakery. You gave me your notebook. You left a note." Arman's eyes widened. You're the rich man." "Yes," Saeed said softly. "And I'm sorry. I was cold. I didn't know you were—" He stopped. "How do you tell a child you're his father?" A moment of silence. Arman looked confused. "Why are you looking for me?" Saeed smiled gently. "Because you're special, and someone is very worried about you." Arman looked down. "My mother?" Saeed nodded. "Yes, Zoya." Arman's head jerked up. "You know my mother?" Saeed's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, a long time ago she was everything to me." Arman took a step back. "She's very sick. She coughs at night. We don't have enough medicine. And that man with us, he scares me." Saeed's face turned serious. "Where is she now?" "I don't know. I got lost." Saeed stood. "Don't worry, I'll find her. But first, let's get you something to eat." A meal and a memory. They sat at a quiet food stall nearby. Saeed ordered warm rice and lentils. Arman ate like he hadn't eaten in days. Saeed watched, holding back tears. "I had nothing when I was young," Saeed said slowly. "One day a kind girl gave me food and hope. That girl was your mother." Arman stopped eating. "Really?" "Yes," Saeed said. "I left her. I chased money and forgot what truly mattered. But when I saw you, something woke up inside." Arman looked at him carefully. "Are you my father?" Saeed didn't blink, he simply nodded. "Yes, I believe I am." A sudden danger before Arman could respond, someone shouted behind them. "Hey, that's the boy!" Saeed turned. 2 rough-looking men ran toward them. They looked angry and dangerous. Arman froze in fear. Saeed quickly grabbed his hand and ran. "Come on!" They ran through the alleyways, dodging carts and jumping puddles. Saeed turned a corner and stopped behind a stack of boxes, pulling Arman close. "Who are they?" Saeed asked, breathing hard. "I think they work for the man who lives with us," Arman said. "He said I shouldn't talk to strangers. He said you were bad." Saeed clenched his jaw. He doesn't want the truth to come out. Help arrived. Saeed called someone on his phone. Minutes later, his personal driver arrived. They rushed Arman to a private clinic. The doctor checked him carefully. "He's weak, but he'll be okay with food and rest," the doctor said. Saeed sat beside Arman's bed. The boy whispered, "Will you help my mom too?" Saeed gently held his hand. "I promise. I will bring her back, and will never leave her again." The search for Zoya. Saeed sent his investigator back to Sector U. This time they found something. A neighbor who recognized Zoya's photo. She lives in the old green building, with a man who's always angry. Saeed rushed to the location with his team. When they reached the house, the door was wide open. Inside, the place was a mess. Zoya was gone. The tall man was gone too. But a note was left on the table. "You took the boy. Now stay away, or you'll lose everything." Saeed's face turned pale. He whispered, "They've taken her, again." A son's tears back at the clinic. Arman woke up to see Saeed sitting quietly. "Did you find her?" he asked. Saeed hesitated. Arman understood. He turned his face and cried silently. Saeed reached out and held him close. "No matter what happens," he whispered, "I will protect you, and I will bring her back. This time, I won't fail." Saeed's heart pounded as he stood outside the old green building. He could feel the weight of time and mistakes pressing down on him. He looked at Armin sleeping peacefully in the car nearby. This was his chance to fix everything. The confrontation, Saeed pushed open the door quietly. Inside, the room was dim. He saw the tall, angry man standing near a weak woman lying on a mattress. It was Zoya. Her face was pale but calm. Man noticed Saeed and sneered, "Back so soon? You don't belong here." Saeed didn't answer. He stepped closer to Zoya. "Zoya," he said softly, "I'm sorry for leaving you all those years ago. But I'm here now. I want to help." Zoya opened her tired eyes and looked at him. For a moment, nothing was said. Then she whispered, "Why now?" Saeed's voice cracked, "Because I love you, and I want to be part of your life and Armin's life." The past comes alive. Zoya looked away, tears running down her cheeks. She told Saeed about the years of pain, the harsh man who took control, and the struggles of raising Arman alone. She spoke of her fears and hopes. Saeed listened silently, feeling every word. The fight for freedom. Suddenly, the angry man shouted, "Enough! This family belongs to me!" Saeed stood tall. "No. This family belongs to those who love each other." The man lunged, but Saeed was ready. A struggle began. Zoya screamed for help. At that moment, police sirens wailed outside. Saeed's team had arrived just in time. The man was arrested. A new dawn. Days later, Saeed, Zoya, and Arman sat together. In a small, bright apartment, the air was filled with hope. Saeed held Arman's hand. "I promise," Saeed said, "to never leave you again." Zoya smiled softly, tears shining in her eyes. Arman laughed, a sound full of joy he hadn't made in a long time. Healing and forgiveness. Saeed worked hard to fix the damage from the past. He helped Zoya get proper medical care. He promised to give Arman the childhood he deserved. Slowly, the broken family began to heal. The story ends, but life goes on. As the sun set over the city, Saeed stood on the balcony. He looked at the small family below, full of hope, love, and second chances. He whispered, "I lost so much time, but I won't lose any more," and this time he meant it.